Power Week 1 of the TNL 2026. This is the Telkom Netball League. My next guest is so very special. I mean, her role is very invisible. You will hardly see her. And I'm talking about the one and only, the National Director of Selection, Lana Krige. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I think we prefer being in the back seats at a tournament like this.
I mean, the fans also know the players, the coaches, but your role is more of an invisible role. Take us through what does a National Director of Selection does?
I think the role of the role of the director selection is just to keep the process fair, and that we can tell every player that they were looked at. Because I think that's what any player just wants, that you've got a fair opportunity to showcase, and that what you were doing on court is being seen by the selectors. So my process is always to get as many eyes on as many players, as many games as we can. Not just here at TNL, but also when we go to our championships, so that we can get a clear idea of what players can do, which roles they can fulfill, and just the growth that's happening in players and therefore in the districts.
Oh, that's nice. So in TNL, you're seeing every game live. What does this feel like, or where can you not get such a feeling of watching a game live?
I think the biggest difference is the wideness of the game. You can pick the things up that happens before a play happens, what happens off the ball movements, and therefore I find when you speak to people who go and watch us games, it's their positioning where they sit.
Okay.
So you'll see us always sitting behind the goalpost so that we can see the whole flow of the game. You want to see all 14 players in motion, in action, where sometimes with camera you lose what's happening off the game, so you don't see the big picture. And therefore I think it's so important that you are really at the game to see the big picture, because the thing with selection is it really has got the opportunity to be very selective, and I think that's why it's so controversial, because we all believe what we have and what we see is right. It's like, what is your truth?
Yeah.
Your truth is based on your experiences in life, and the same with selections. Your selection is about what you see. So therefore I think it's just great to be able to see the whole picture, quarter for quarter. You can see the interactions with the coaches with them, which you don't always catch on TV.
Sure. So I'm so glad you're speaking about players. So without naming any names, what is one thing that a player can do in court that will want you to make you hang on to your seat as you're watching them play?
So I think the thing that distinguishes players, the great players, from the players who's performing well, are what they're doing in preparation for what's coming.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you don't pick up on TV all the time. So like for instance, a goalkeeper. So a goalkeeper's positioning is so important about how she swings towards the ball. So the moment the ball swings in the left to the right side of the court, does her preparation start already? Because if she can anticipate that the ball is going to swing from side to side, she's there before the goal shooter even starts thinking about that the ball is moved. So with defense, it's often who's the quickest in making that decision, and that you can pick up. So those who can preempt what's coming, that's what you pick up, and that's what we're looking for. Who's the ones that's in the position before it happens?
I mean, selection processes are one of the debatable situations that you can ever find yourself in. How do you make sure that the selections are fair?
I think that's something that we cover in our workshops quite a bit. Criteria, very, very important. There's certain criteria that each player and each position needs to hit. Because once we pick the squad, there's usually not a lot of time for players to be able, or for the coaches to work with the players to get the team to be ready. So the coaching mainly goes around strategic development, how we want the team to gel, combination building. So when we select the players, we are already looking for the rounded player that can hit the edge, and that's now national team. Obviously, when you're picking at a lower level, you can still have time to work on things, and you can get players to work through. Certain aspects you can add. But most of the time we are looking for that criteria that's stated in there. What is the job of a wing attack? What is the basic job of a goal attack? Because then we can add the finer things on top of it. So those are the criteria that we are looking in selection. So once the selectors has picked those players, then it becomes working in how are we going to manage an evil spread in the team, because you can't just be selection heavy on one side. How do you it's the question of how does people gel, or the combination work. And those are discussions, because that obviously is not something that you can put a number to. You can't say this combination scores on a 4 because of they doing this. That's a human thing, that you either gel with somebody, you know, that natural thing. I pick up you and I like you right from the start. Certain players, certain positions has that.
Well, I'm glad you highlighted the most of what are the criteria, but just to highlight for us as well, what are some, or just one quality that you are looking for, especially for the Proteas?
I think the Protea, or I know the Proteas, are the pinnacle of our netball fraternity. Therefore, you want them physically strong. That you can't get on court and you can't handle the physical load of international players. So physically strong, superior fitness. Game sense is a big one for us, where you need to know when to make the right pass. You need to know when to go for an intercept. Obviously, if you don't have the ability, it doesn't help you know, but you can't get the body there. So, but it's the pinnacle of those. Everybody has got times when they make the right decision. But the biggest difference because the game is the game, but the difference from club to provincial to TNL to national is time. How much time do you have to get to the ball? How much time do you have to make the decision? And if it's not a natural thing that comes and you can make it basically on instinct, then it takes time, because you have to go through the thinking processes. So that's what we're looking for those players with the minimum of time can make the right decision in the right time.
Well, thank you so much, Lana. I mean, you are doing such an amazing job with the quality and the standard of our netball sporting codes and the growth. Clearly, you are doing such a magnificent job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Looking forward to all of the rest of the tournaments, and enjoy.
We're trying to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, there you have it, everybody. This was our National Director of Selections.